Sima Zhao secretly said to Xiaoti. Most court officials oppose invading Shu because they are afraid. Zhong Hui alone has the confidence to recommend the campaign. Even if he later harbors ambitions of his own after Shu falls, the people of Shu will never support him. And the Wei army will only want to return home. There is nothing to fear. Keep these words strictly confidential. Xiaoti admired Sima Zhao's judgment. After establishing camp, Zhong Hui summoned his generals and asked who would serve as the vanguard, opening mountain roads and building bridges for the advancing army. Su Yi, the son of Su Chu, volunteered immediately, and the other officers unanimously recommended him. Zhong Hui assigned Su Yi 5,000 cavalry and 1,000 infantry to advance in 3 columns toward Hanzhong. He specifically ordered him to repair every road and bridge along the way. Any delay to the main army would be punished according to military law. Su Yi departed at once, while Zhong Hui led more than 100,000 troops day and night toward Hanzhong. Meanwhile, Deng Ai also began his invasion of Shu. He first ordered Sima Wang to guard against the Chang tribes, then gathered Zhuge Su, Wang Qi, Qian Hong, Yang Xian and other generals. Before setting out, Deng Ai dreamed that he climbed a mountain where a spring suddenly burst forth beneath his feet. The interpreter Xiao Huan explained that although Deng Ai would conquer Shu, he might never return safely. Though troubled by the omen, Deng Ai continued with the campaign according to Zhong Hui's overall strategy. Zhuge Su was sent to cut off Jiang Wei's retreat. Wang Qi and Qian Hong attacked Tazhong. Yang Xian moved against Gonsong, while Deng Ai personally commanded the central force of 30,000 troops. Thus, Wei launched its great eastern and western offensives against Shu at the same time. On the day Zhong Hui departed, all the officials gathered outside Luoyang to see him off. Banners covered the sky, armored soldiers stretched endlessly into the distance, and the magnificent army inspired universal admiration. Only Lu Shi, a military advisor, merely smiled without saying a word. Grand Commandant Wang Xiang asked him, "Will Zhong Hui and Deng Ai succeed in conquering Shu?" Lu Shi replied, "They will certainly destroy Shu. I only fear that neither of them will ever return to Luoyang." When Wang Xiang asked why, Lu Shi simply smiled and remained silent. Meanwhile, Jiang Wei quickly learned that the Wei army had launched a full-scale invasion. He immediately memorialized Emperor Lu Shan, urging him to station Zhang Yi at Yangping Pass and Liao Hua at Yinping Bridge. If either position fell, Hanzhong would be in grave danger. He also recommended requesting reinforcements from Eastern Wu, while he personally marched from Tazhong to meet the enemy. By this time, Lu Shan had proclaimed a new reign era, Yanqing. Instead of governing, he spent his days drinking and entertaining himself with the eunuch Huang Hao. After reading Jiang Wei's memorial, Lu Shan asked Huang Hao for advice. Huang Hao dismissed the warning, claiming Jiang Wei was exaggerating the threat merely to gain military glory. He then introduced a shamaness who supposedly could communicate with the gods. Lu Shan believed her completely and invited her into the palace. Barefoot and with her hair loose, she danced wildly before the altar until Huang Hao announced that a deity had descended. After everyone else was dismissed, the shamaness suddenly proclaimed, "I am the guardian spirit of Sichuan. Your Majesty need only continue enjoying life. There is no need to fear Wei. In a few years, even Wei's empire will belong to you." She then collapsed. When she awoke, Lu Shan rewarded her generously and believed every word she had spoken. Meanwhile, Huang Hao secretly suppressed every urgent memorial Jiang Wei sent requesting reinforcements, preventing Lu Shan from ever seeing them. As a result, Shu gradually lost its final opportunity to prepare its defenses. After arriving in Hanzhong, Zhong Hui ordered Su Yi to attack Nanjing Pass. However, the Shu defender Lu Sun had already prepared an ambush. Soldiers hid beside the wooden bridge while repeating crossbows left behind by Zhuge Liang were set in place. As the Wei army advanced, arrows and rocks rained down like a storm, inflicting heavy casualties and forcing a retreat. Zhong Hui personally inspected the battlefield, but was also caught in the arrow barrage. While withdrawing, his horse suddenly became trapped when the damaged bridge collapsed beneath it. He narrowly escaped death by abandoning the horse. Lu Sun charged after him and nearly killed him with a spear, but Wei General Sun Kai shot Lu Sun with an arrow and saved Zhong Hui's life. Zhong Hui then launched a counterattack and captured Nanjing Pass. After the battle, he richly rewarded Sun Kai but summoned Su Yi for punishment. You were ordered to repair every road and bridge. Because of your negligence, the bridge collapsed and nearly killed your commander. You violated military law and must be executed. Many generals pleaded for mercy, reminding Zhong Hui of Su Chu's great service to Wei. Zhong Hui refused. If military law is not enforced equally, how can anyone respect it? He ordered Su Yi's execution despite all objections, shocking the entire army. Afterward, Zhong Hui sent Li Fu to besiege Yueching, Sun Kai to attack Hanzhong, while he personally marched on Yangping Pass. The Shu commander Fu Qian believed the exhausted Wei army should be attacked immediately. His deputy Jiang Shu instead argued they should defend the pass. Fu Qian personally led 3,000 soldiers out to engage the enemy. Zhong Hui pretended to retreat, luring Fu Qian away. When Fu Qian attempted to return, he discovered Wei banners already flying over the walls. Jiang Shu had secretly surrendered and opened the gates. Enraged, Fu Qian cursed Jiang Shu for betraying his country. Rather than surrender, he charged into the enemy once more. Surrounded on every side, he fought until he was covered in wounds and nearly all his men had fallen. Finally he cried, "I live as a minister of Shu, and I will die as a ghost of Shu." He then drew his sword and took his own life, dying for his country. Later generations praised his loyalty, declaring that it was far better to die faithfully like Fu Qian than to survive through betrayal like Jiang Shu. After capturing Yangping Pass, Zhong Hui seized enormous quantities of grain and military supplies. However, for 2 consecutive nights the Wei camp heard deafening battle cries coming from the southwest. The soldiers were terrified and stayed awake all night. At dawn they searched the area, but found no trace of an enemy. Zhong Hui personally investigated. Near Mount Dingjun, dark clouds gathered overhead and a fierce wind suddenly arose, making it seem as though thousands of cavalry were charging toward the camp. The frightened soldiers fled in panic. After returning, they realized no one had been injured. They had merely lost helmets and fallen in the confusion. The surrendered Jiang Shu explained, "There is no temple here, only the tomb of Zhuge Liang." Zhong Hui immediately believed that the Marquis Wu's spirit had appeared and personally visited the tomb to offer sacrifices the following day. As soon as the ceremony ended, the fierce wind ceased, the clouds disappeared, and the sky cleared. That night Zhong Hui dreamed that a man wearing a silk headscarf, holding a feather fan, and dressed in a crane feather robe entered his tent. "It was Zhuge Liang," he said. "The Han dynasty has exhausted heaven's mandate, and even I cannot change fate. But the people of Shu are innocent. When your army enters their land, do not slaughter the civilians." With those words he vanished. When Zhong Hui awoke, he deeply respected the dream and immediately ordered a white banner to be raised bearing 4 large characters. "Protect the nation, safeguard the people." He also strictly commanded the army, "Anyone who harms innocent civilians shall be executed." As a result, the Wei army maintained excellent discipline after entering Hanzhong, and the local people welcomed them without fear. Though Zhuge Liang had long since passed away, his reputation still protected the people of Shu. Meanwhile, Jiang Wei remained stationed at Tazhong. After learning of the invasion, he summoned Liao Hua, Zhang Yi, and Dong Ju to join him while arranging his forces to meet the enemy. The first Wei commander to appear was Wang Qi, governor of Tianshui. He shouted, "Wei has 1,000,000 soldiers and countless fierce generals. 20 armies are advancing at once, and Chengdu will soon fall. Why not surrender now instead of resisting heaven?" Furious, Jiang Wei charged directly at him. After only a few exchanges, Wang Qi fled in defeat. Jiang Wei pursued him for 20 li before Qianhong blocked his path. Ignoring him, Jiang Wei continued pressing forward. Suddenly Deng Ai arrived with the main Wei force. The two armies fought fiercely without either side gaining the advantage. Then urgent news arrived that Yang Xian had burned all the Shu camps at Gonsong. Shocked, Jiang Wei left part of his army behind to contain Deng Ai while personally rushing to rescue Gonsong. Yang Xian immediately retreated into the mountains, drawing Jiang Wei after him. When Jiang Wei entered a narrow valley, logs and rocks rained down from above, forcing him to retreat. By the time he turned back, Deng Ai had already defeated the main Shu force and surrounded Jiang Wei. Leading his elite cavalry, Jiang Wei fought his way out of the encirclement and withdrew to a fortified camp while awaiting reinforcements. Soon another messenger arrived with disastrous news. Zhong Hui had captured Yangping Pass. Jiang Shu had surrendered. Fu Qian had died defending the pass. Hanzhong had fallen. The commanders Wang Han of Yueqing and Jiang Bin of Hanqing also surrendered, while Hu Ji was forced to flee back to Chengdu. Jiang Wei was stunned. Realizing the entire strategic situation had collapsed, he immediately ordered a retreat. That night, as Jiang Wei withdrew toward Jiangchuanku, Yang Xian intercepted him once again. Enraged, Jiang Wei charged into battle. After only one exchange, Yang Xian turned and fled. Jiang Wei fired 3 arrows in succession, but every shot missed. In frustration, he snapped his bow and pursued with his spear. Suddenly his horse stumbled and threw him to the ground. Yang Xian wheeled around to kill him, but Jiang Wei quickly thrust his spear into Yang Xian's horse, bringing it down. Wei soldiers rushed forward and rescued Yang Xian. Just as Jiang Wei prepared to continue the pursuit, he learned that Deng Ai's army had arrived from behind. Caught between two enemies, he abandoned the chase and attempted to retreat toward Hanzhong. Scouts then reported that Zhuge had already seized Yinping Bridge and cut off the road. Jiang Wei had no choice but to camp in the mountains, sighing, "Is heaven truly determined to destroy me?" His officer Ning Sui proposed a clever plan. Zhuge does not have many troops. Pretend to attack Yong province. He will surely fear for his base and withdraw. Once he leaves, we can double back, retake Yinping Bridge, and return to Jiang'a. Jiang Wei immediately accepted the plan. He advanced into Konghan Valley and deliberately acted as though he intended to invade Yong province. Zhuge fell for the deception. Afraid of being punished if Yong province were lost, he withdrew with his main force, leaving only a small detachment to guard the bridge. After marching 30 li, Jiang Wei calculated that Zhuge had gone far enough and suddenly turned back. Finding only a handful of defenders, the Shu army overwhelmed them, burned the Wei camp, and successfully retook the bridge. By the time Zhuge learned of the fire and hurried back, Jiang Wei had already crossed safely with his army. Knowing pursuit was hopeless, Zhuge abandoned the chase. After crossing Yinping Bridge, Jiang Wei finally met up with Zhang Yi and Liao Hua. When he asked about Chengdu, Zhang Yi sighed. Huang Hao believed the lies of the shamanists and refused to send reinforcements. After hearing Hanzhong was in danger, I marched here on my own, only to find Yangping Pass had already fallen. Liao Hua added, "The enemy surrounds us on every side, and our supply lines have been cut. Rather than continue fighting here, we should withdraw to Jiang'a and make our stand there." Jiang Wei hesitated. Then more urgent news arrived. Zhong Hui and Deng Ai had divided their forces into more than 10 columns and were pursuing from every direction. Jiang Wei initially wanted to split his army and fight. Liao Hua persuaded him once again. "The terrain around Baishui is too narrow for a decisive battle. Our highest priority is to hold Jiang'a. As long as Jiang'a stands, Shu still has hope. If Jiang'a falls, everything is lost." Jiang Wei finally agreed and led the entire army toward Jiang'a. But just as they approached the pass, drums thundered and battle cries echoed through the mountains. A large army had already occupied the strategic entrance. Jiang Wei and his officers were shocked. Was it an enemy force, or long-awaited reinforcements? The answer would be revealed in the next chapter. Summary. This chapter marks the true beginning of Wei's final campaign to conquer Shu. Sima Zhao launched a carefully coordinated invasion by sending Zhong Hui and Deng Ai to attack from two different directions, demonstrating a strategy that had clearly been prepared for years. While the Wei forces advanced with discipline and organization, Shu's internal problems had become impossible to ignore. Jiang Wei repeatedly warned the court and urgently requested reinforcements, but every memorial was secretly suppressed by Huang Hao. Emperor Lu Shan, absorbed in pleasure and easily deceived by superstition, failed to recognize the seriousness of the crisis. As Hanzhong fell one fortress after another, and Jiang Wei was forced into retreat, the balance of the war shifted decisively in Wei's favor. The fate of Shu Han now rested on its final defensive line at Jianghe, where the decisive battle for the kingdom's survival was about to begin. Historical notes. 1. Lu Shan was not completely unaware of the Wei invasion. The novel portrays Lu Shan as knowing nothing because Huang Hao intercepted every memorial. Historically, Lu Shan was indeed an ineffective ruler who placed great trust in Huang Hao, but he was not entirely ignorant of Wei's invasion. The Shu court was aware of the military threat, although it seriously underestimated the situation and made several poor strategic decisions. 2. Zhuge Liang's spirit appearing to Zhong Hui is fictional. The episodes in which Zhuge Liang's spirit creates supernatural phenomena at Mount Dingjun and later appears in Zhong Hui's dream are purely fictional additions by the novel. No such events are recorded in the historical records of the Three Kingdoms, Sengguozi. These scenes were included to emphasize Zhuge Liang's legendary status and to portray him as continuing to protect the people of Shu even after his death.